I've always loved dance, but I never realized its power to change lives until I met two sisters, Kiara and Uriah.
Dance is my escape and my home away from home. I go there when I'm upset and when I'm sad and happy, and going into that studio, being able to do everything I possibly want to. It just gives me balance. It calms me down and makes me a better and happier person.
I specifically remember her coming home from rehearsals when she was in middle school. I was probably in 5th or 4th grade, but she would be so tired, but it was like a happy tired. She always wanted to show my mom what she'd been working on or show the whole family. I think that my sister being a dancer is what made me want to be a dancer.
I first met Kiara and Uriah when I was invited to film a duet featuring them for a dance program at Jefferson High School. When the choreographer told me that Kiara was a quadruple amputee that didn't use prosthetics, I couldn't imagine how she could dance, let alone move. And yet, even though Kiara was remarkable, I realized this was really a story about two sisters.
What inspired me to choreograph SOAR was the immediate relationship that I found between the two sisters, and the fact that they both decided to use dance as a medium of artistic expression. If you come right back to the rawness and the basicness of dance, it's a form of communication. They are so open and authentic that when they tell their story, they do it with both feet in the water. When that happens, there's an immediate connection from heart to heart, from stage to auditorium. And when I saw that energy, I thought, I don't know what this is, but it needs to be seen.
Well, when I was 2 years old, I caught a bacterial infection called pneumococcal sepsis. It shuts all your major bloodstreams in half and causes your body to shunt. And after multiple doctor visits and certain things not being the way that it was supposed to be, it led to quadruple amputations.
It looked like she had stomach flu symptoms. Because she was still talking to me. I was still giving her popsicles and everything appeared to be normal. But she was progressively getting worse, weak, the vomiting, the diarrhea, stuff that she was able to do at 2 years old, she wasn't able to do anymore. And then the next day is when everything happened. I remember not remembering phone numbers of people to call when we were in the hospital. And fortunately, Uriah was already at my mother's house. It was scary. I think I kind of blocked out a little bit of time because I don't remember how people showed up at the hospital. Once they were able to replenish with fluids, then they needed to see how much of her limbs were able to come back. I was trying to just make sure she kept her fluids up, and I gave her a purple popsicle, and I went over to the bed to like talk to her, and the bottom of her feet were purple, like spotty purple. And I didn't understand it at that time, what was going on, but it was her body shunting. She was dying right in front of me. When she woke up after the amputations and said, "Can I go and watch The Lion King again?" You know, when she woke up after that, I was like, oh, okay. It's still Kiera. She's just a little bit shorter.
I was never the type of quote-unquote disabled person to stay in my wheelchair the entire day and have everybody wait on me. I wanted to go out and do everything that I had learned how to do with my arms and legs and adapt to how to do them without them. My legs were amputated at such a young age. I don't think that they realize that they have been amputated, so they're continuing to grow as if I'm getting taller. So every 2 years or so, I'll have a growth spurt and the bone will turn into a pencil point, and either I break it by myself by doing cartwheels and landing the complete wrong way, or jumping off my bed and hitting it at a specific angle, or I have to go in and have surgery. They go in, break the bone, shave it down, and then I'm good for the next couple years, except for this last one. We went in too early, and right after the operation, I had a growth spurt.
There's no way around. Okay, right, this definitely needs to be on high.
There are definitely a lot of times when Kiera asks for help, and I know she doesn't need it, so I'm not gonna do it. But, and then there are other times when I can tell that there's something that she's really actually gonna need my help with that she probably could do on her own, but it would just make things easier if I just helped her out. I think a lot of that is just knowing her for as long as I have, and I mean, she's always been that way. So there was no transition for me. I just came into it like that.
She just grew up knowing how to help me and when to help me and when to push me away, because she knew I could do it by myself.
I hope Era realizes exactly how amazing she is. Because people tell her all the time, but I don't think she knows.
I reckon it's been my turn to win some more learns.
The journey to helping someone adapt, I think, it creates a really strong bond.
It cannot wait. I'm yours. Hey.
I do ballet because I know I have to. It's gonna make me a better dancer. I don't have the best feet. My hips aren't very flexible, and I know that ballet will help me improve those things and be stronger. I feel at home in modern, as opposed to ballet, where I feel kind of like I'm walking in someone else's house, accidentally breaking stuff and being kind of clumsy.
And like when she's doing that, I'm just starting to do this.
What can you do about it?
Teacher in specific, she has been telling me how I shouldn't be sitting out of a class. I should always be in there and transform the movement that they're doing into a way that I can do it. So mentally, I'm pretty much fried.
The intensive has been really interesting. I think that we've seen each other in different lights just because we don't normally take class together. We've never been in a dance class together, actually. but it's sort of frustrating too. Sometimes I see her, I can tell when she's uncomfortable and when she's not giving it her all because she doesn't know what the teacher will think, or she doesn't think the teacher understands her. And it's frustrating because I know what she can do and I know that she knows what she can do, and when she's not being assertive about it, I get kind of, I don't know, I sort of get on her a little bit about that.
Bigger. And then when we see you coming here, it's like you're taking a little breath, and out of nowhere, boom, it comes up. Just a little bit. You want to go, tita. Yeah, that little thing. Reach. Let's talk about the floor. The very beginning of the piece. I saw, this happened and this happened. But what was missing was, where was the floor in that? The other thing that was missing from the very beginning was you. Take the risk. Fall down. While we're in here, fall on your butt in here. Yeah? Good, you guys. Let's move on.
Do you ever hold yourself back?
When she's there?
Yeah. Let's wait for that to
I haven't noticed holding myself back when I'm in class with her. I've never thought about it either though, so I don't know. I hope not.
Arms up, sexy face like Broadway tackiness.
At the end of the summer intensive, Robert asked me to join the company.
I'll be back here.
Oh yeah, you will.
I was terrified to join a professional company. I didn't think that I would fit in. I went from a small studio to a big stage, and it was a big adjustment.
Go to the booth, tell them which ones your tickets are, and then I'll text you the feature. Okay.
My mom didn't get off until 6:30, and she's right here.
Were you nervous?
I was terrified, and I don't know. Like, I don't think anybody's like looking for me because I'm only in the second piece, and so I don't have to be here like the entire time. But I just didn't want to get in trouble for being late. Okay, if Robert's wondering, I am here. I'm just leaving for a second. I bought 2 more tickets, but I clicked the wrong night.
Oh, okay.
Is that still okay?
Yes. We'll just have to...
I'm like upset with Raya right now. She told me she wanted to come all 3 nights of the show, so I gave her one of my comp tickets for tonight, and then I get a call from my mom at like 3:30, and she says that Raya is going to her friend's football game instead. And then she comes home, she was like, I never said I wanted to come to your show all 3 nights, and all these different things. And I was like, you're being rude and being like inconsiderate and choosing friends over family, like, because this isn't the first time she's done that. But so we're not speaking, and she didn't say anything before I left, and I didn't say anything to her.
So, with that, I just wish you marriage.
Put your toes
Stay
together.
Can you curve and back? I love you.
You have no way out.
Hey guys, I'll see you on the other side. Okay? Married.
That's all I know. My mom was just telling me because she was upset that I was taking out of movement 3, and she was like, I'm excited for the show. I just hope I'm excited for your piece. My mother said it's amazing, beautiful, and Nanny, my grandmother, is loving the show. I'll see you tomorrow.
Make sure you go greet all your adoring moms.
Yeah, like I have so many.
More than enough.
That was so good.
Yeah.
That was so good.
You like it, Nanny?
Kids need to just be kids. Leave all that adult stuff to the adults. I continue to go over that with the girls when I'm just having conversations with them, even with Corey and Alana. I'm like, how are you feeling about this whole documentary thing? I want to know how they feel about it because this is a big deal. It's a big deal. So we've been having a lot of conversations around this, a lot.
I didn't know how much was involved in the creation of a documentary, like how much the camera was going to be there, how much in my life the camera would know and everybody around the camera would know.
Months passed before I heard from them. Four months later.
I love to choreograph. I feel, although people disagree with me, I feel like my dance career will end sooner than any other dancer. So choreography is my way of continuing that career, and Jefferson gave me the opportunity to choreograph on a full company for the first time.
Okay, so you guys ready? Everybody in, even though this is so corny. Okay, on the count of three. What are we gonna say? On the count of three, we're gonna say swag. Swag. We're gonna Inception. We're gonna say Inception. Inception. Inception swag. All right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Inception swag.
JD too kind of became one of the places that I felt strongly that young people could have an opportunity to learn how to utilize dancers and make pieces of work. It's not like artwork, you have to have bodies.
Oh, that was so good! Oh my gosh! Oh my word, that was amazing. Okay, I can breathe now. I have to get dressed. Can you hand me that?
Her second charade is our role.
I prefer to work with the professional company. They work with each other, they help me figure out exactly what I'm trying to do, and then they perform it like easily.
We knew full on that we wanted her to set a piece on the company. And she asked us, actually, before we began rehearsals, if we wanted to have Uriah come in, because Uriah is Kiara's interpreter. Our response was, I'd like to learn your movement from you, not a translator.
With Raya, I think the movement, and I like da-da-da-da-da, and then I make like the noises, and then she knows what those noises stand for, and then she'll be like, oh, and then she'll go and do the movement that I want. But then Melissa, I'll be like, okay, I want, like I can show her the movement, even though I'm missing specific parts, but then she'll be like, oh, okay, and then she shows everybody else.
Just do the single turn into that. Yeah. And this is 3 of them, right? 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I get these preconceived notions that I don't know where they come from, but you're looking at someone and you're like, oh, how are you going to choreograph something on an instrument that you've never played or you've never worked with.
There were certain details of, am I pointed still or am I flexed? But those questions were very few and far between. And more often than not, movement was really hard. It was really fast. And there was one of the days that she wanted us to pop up, into like a shoulder stand, which is possible, but we needed more time. And she was like up in like 2 seconds. And it was definitely one of those days where I looked at her and I'm like, Kiara, our legs are back here. And she's like, oh, legs are so hard to choreograph.
I have to put a picture in their head to get them to understand what type of movement that I want. And like playing the piano, I want your fingers to move like that, or kicking somebody, I want your body to react to that like how you would. And so it's been a challenge, but they have adapted so well to me being on the company and being a choreographer.
Should we stop since we changed here?
I got another Raya, just different body type, different color, different company. I was really scared to join the company. They're adults and they're all older than me, and I didn't know if I would fit in.
Since day one, I was like, you have to stay. You have to come to company class. What's the next thing on the calendar? Like, you should be a part of it because she's beautiful. Who doesn't want a beautiful dancer as a part of their company?
What's amazing about the dance as an art form, or any art, it's about lines and moving through space. It's not just the visual lines that the arms and the legs make, but you don't realize that we're actually pushing air, we're pushing energy, and so we're creating the subliminal lines and circles and pathways through space that are moved ahead of the line and are dragged after the line of the arm that we see. And when I saw Kiara dance, I saw extensions of lines and energy through space being moved the way that many dancers who have their full facility couldn't create. I really look at her as a pioneer, and I don't think she really understands the potential and the power that she has for other individuals who witness her.
you saying, I wish I was in more pieces. How do you feel?
I feel foolish for ever saying that because I miss those times when I was only in one piece in the show. Because now I'm in 6 out of the 9, and then I choreographed one, so 7 out of 9 pieces that I'm in, and I'm absolutely exhausted. But I love it. I love always being busy, and I love that I'm used. And when I got the email, and it was the casting for each piece, and I saw my name on so many of the pieces, I started bawling.
Nine months later.
Hey Susan, JD2's concert's this weekend. Dress rehearsal's Thursday, and if you can come film, just give me a call. Bye. It was the spring of my senior year when the JD2 show was approaching. That show was gonna be like the culmination of everything Jeff has been to me, and I just needed that to be captured. I had a duet with my friend Quentin. I was choreographing my first piece. I was in like 8 or 9 out of 11, like something crazy. I've had the thought that I wanted to omit myself from the project multiple times during like a 9-month chunk of my senior year. I just wanted to stay busy, and I feel like I definitely drifted from a lot of people. Not consciously though. You know, I didn't decide to cut anyone off. No, some people I did actually, but not Kiera. Never that. Toward the end of my junior year, there was just a lot of drama that I didn't feel like was true to the way I like to live. So I did weed a lot of the people that were causing that out of my life, and then I poured myself into dance the next year. And I think that kind of saved me. Being Kiera's little sister is how I felt like that was my identity for a really long time. Like, yeah, a really long time. But, I mean, not that I resented it, but, you know, she's a really powerful person. And I used to think that if it weren't for Kiera being my sister, I wouldn't get anywhere. Like, in middle school, a lot of my friends were through her, and all the dance teachers, all the teachers at Da Vinci knew me through my sister. And so I just, you know, I hung on to her because that's all I had. When I graduated from middle school and I had to decide where I wanted to go for high school, Kiera was already at Benson. But I felt like that was the time I made the choice that I needed to go on my own and like really make my own connections. So I went to Jefferson, where I only knew one person who was going there. And I didn't feel like Kiera's little sister anymore. And I liked that. We always wanted to perform SOAR again.
And if we did, we wanted to invite all the dance companies that had inspired us.
so we decided to produce a dance concert. They would participate in fundraising, organizing, outreach, and publicity. Everything was coming together. Kiara signed on for another year with Polaris. And Uriah got a job working at an ice cream store.
What do you think about your sister? What kind of potential does she have?
I think she has a lot of potential if she gets herself together. Like, she learns well, not necessarily learns, she just has, like, if she becomes me, she'll be perfectly fine, because then everything will be, like, tip-top shape. But, like, she asked me that question a couple weeks ago, just, like, what I like about her or what I dislike about her, and I think I love how open she is and how, like, self-expressive and unique she is, but at the same time, I hate that about her because of how unique she is and how everything she is, how other people feel isn't necessarily like the most important thing.
Obviously, I like being unique, and I don't want to feel like I'm trying to fit in anywhere that I don't. And I might take that a little too far and just start making my own world and forget about other people, but, like, I mean, it's not intentional. And then Kiara, Era.
Yeah, don't call me Kiara. That's so nasty.
Like, I don't know you. I mean, are you asking me, like, the same question about her?
What would you like to see your sister accomplish?
I'd like Era to stop caring what other people think. That's always what I've wanted. Sometimes I just want to, like, shake her and be like, ah. Let it out. Just let it go. There's somewhere in between you and I is where I want both of us to be.
It was months before we could meet again. Like most dancers, they knew they needed another career to earn a living. So Uriah signed up for a construction course and fell in love. And Kiara decided to give back by studying to become a medical assistant.
When I first drew blood, I did it on my teacher. I was even more scared because my teacher could fail me right then if I messed up on his blood draw. But the needle went through my glove before it got into his arm. And so when I went to, like, pull away to, like, pull the syringe, it pulled the needle out too. And, like, blood just started squirting everywhere. I was like, like, I seriously froze like that.
We thought that if she actually used condoms, that it would work perfect.
Condoms are okay to use in that, but not wearing on your arms and drawing blood. It just makes me feel so uncomfortable. All of the teachers were more than willing and completely for me doing this. I would go into class and not having a clue on how I was going to be able to do something. They came up with tons of ideas.
Perfect. Beautiful. I'm going to take this off for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to hold the cotton ball, please.
The what?
Hold the cotton ball once I get it here.
Okay.
Don't press, just hold it right there.
Blake Jaws was my all-time favorite class in the whole program because it was something I didn't expect myself to be able to do, and now I do it.
You didn't even feel that, did you?
Is it done?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
There you go.
The best ever. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't get something nice to eat or to... it's what we do in France, you know. Yeah.
We could give you a special Band-Aid.
But the cafeteria is right over there if you want to get something too.
Wow. It's rough here in America.
I've been learning general construction. We learned about all of the very specific and very numerous regulations that are in place. And then we had CPR training, confined space entry, which is, if you have to work in a really tiny little area. We got flagging certificates. And then we get a lot of hands-on training. So I know how to use a skill saw and a chop saw. I thought I knew how to hammer, but I learned the proper techniques of hammering and a lot of tool identification. So many details in such a cramped amount of time.
Yeah, we teach for 9 weeks, right?
Yeah.
3 days
the
a week.
last day.
We do math, we do choices, we do the apprenticeship survival guide.
So is Uriah a good student?
Yep, just a young person though. You want to go out
So
there
when I
and
get
try
old, I'll get all
And when you get old, hopefully you'll find
turn
the
into
trade
a grump.
that will keep you from getting grumpy.
Yeah.
You want to find something that you want to do. So she likes metal for some reason.
During my senior year in high school, we went to a career fair, and I saw behind this tent a bunch of really bright lights. And so I went over there, and they were doing welding. And I thought, it was just going to be a demonstration, but they had all this gear laid out, and they told us to put it on. And this guy gave me a really brief, condensed lesson on how to do it, and I loved it. Something about it, I just felt so powerful, but also so artistic, and I could see it being a really intricate skill. And I love working with my hands. I love working with my body too, but.
She'll get paid to play with metal. And then she can go off and branch off into being an artist.
So you take 10.
Mariah, because we're on our different paths in our lives, she decided to move out and is now living with her boyfriend.
During August, I started working at an ice cream shop, and my first night on the job, there was this guy, someone was like, "Oh, this is Raphael." There was definitely a lot of flirting happening on both sides, and then once he found out that I was 18, he was
not having it.
Sort of, a little. I could tell he was backing away a little bit. Things sort of just took off from there. After the first time we hung out, we were just inseparable. We've been together for a little over 6 months now, and I just moved in with him. I went from having to ask permission to go to the bathroom to paying my own bills and living by myself and about to start a career of my own, and I don't know. It feels great. I'd rather be moving too fast than too slow. So I can still go back. My mom's made it very clear that I'm welcome to come back.
Feels so good and there is no doubt I will stay with you.
The first probably month and a half or so that she moved out, we didn't really speak at all. I didn't like what she was doing. I didn't like why she was doing it, and I'm the type of person to hold grudges as much as I don't want to admit that, so I just didn't speak to her. Even if she'd call, I just wouldn't answer the phone or wouldn't respond to a text. I just didn't have anything nice to say. It can be frustrating because I was born 2 years older, so I'm the oldest one, but she's doing things that I'm not comfortable doing, things that I haven't experimented with doing. My family loves to laugh, and Raya was a huge part of that all the time. And she's a super, super funny, dorky person, so she'd bring a lot of the laughter out of us. If I want to talk to her, I have to text her, or I have to call her, because we're in different houses. We sleep in different houses now, so it's just weird not having her here.
I think your sister misses you. How do you feel about that?
It's been, in a way, I think really good for both of us. But I also feel for a long time, ever since I started high school, we've been away from each other. And it's definitely a lot different now, though. Not actually living at home, physically being with her as often. I was just talking to one of the instructors here, and he said his sister lives a mile away from him, and he sees her once a month. And that scares me, because I don't want to be that sibling that just, found a new life and then never came back. I'm not gonna be that sibling.
finally, in late February, we found an open night at a theater. But that left us with less than 2 months to pay for it, not to mention filling 880 seats with no budget for advertising.
Rolling.
Hi, I'm Kiera.
I'm Uriah, and we're sisters. Just kidding.
We also want to give back by hosting a benefit concert featuring arts organizations that give people a chance with alternate abilities, a chance to perform. Right? I did it better.
Were you looking at the camera when I was talking?
Yeah.
Okay, because I never know what to do. I'm like, do I look at you? Do I look at the ground? Obviously, asking people for money is really, really hard to do because, you know, there are these people that, although they know me and they care about me and they're excited for me, really have no reason to be giving me their money.
Kickstarter has been a very, very stressful procedure. I compare it to drawing blood. You have to get all these things set up before you can actually insert the needle.
All right, so imagine we're like a month into this. So
We're gonna still have our same clothes on.
That's okay.
Okay.
We ain't showered.
For a whole year.
But despite the people that donated and the friends who loaned us money, we didn't reach our all or nothing goal. That was the hardest thing for me, feeling like I had put them in the spotlight and then let our campaign fail. We had to fill the theater now, or the whole thing would be a disappointment.
The arms and legs thing. You have them.
These things.
Yeah, right. You don't, but yet you can do stuff that she can't do.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Like twin telepathy, but I
was just gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, it's really weird.
I think it's sometimes probably harder for younger siblings because someone else has already paved the way and like been able to make their identity without anyone else's shadow looming over them.
Yeah.
So that was what made me want to come write about you.
And then I've also learned I love for both of us to be in the spotlight instead of me being in the spotlight and then her being there with me. Because I'm in a wheelchair, people think I can't see, hear, or speak by myself. So when they're talking to me, they're like 2 inches away from my face and they're yelling at me.
It's a message your audience remembers.
Hey, can I shake your hand?
Of course. When Kiera stays for lunch.
Okay.
Kiera invited the Riverdale students to see her and her sister dance again. They'll be performing at the Newmark Theater on April 21st.
So, I think it's your right sacroiliac joint. I'm not 100% confident by any means, but we got to start somewhere, and that's where I want to start and see what happens.
A few weeks before the show, I hurt my back. I was determined to dance, but I was in pain and I could barely move.
You try to reach your...
We did tons of hours in rehearsals and tried different things. We had to recast and then re-choreograph, and working with new people. My body gets shy before I actually show that I'm shy, and so I'll go to do something that my body isn't necessarily ready to do, and then I'll injure myself more. But I'll work my butt off in rehearsal, but then go home and fall asleep or go home and soak and do heat pads and all these different things just to make myself ready for the next day.
6, 7, 8, 1, 2.
I'm feeling pretty overwhelmed right now, but it is a little bit more complicated organizing when to meet up for interviews and talk to reporters and what classes I need to be at. And really I'm excited for the show and to see everybody perform and how many people come out. But it has actually motivated me in a lot of ways to dance more, because I'm realizing how out of shape I am right now.
What am I gonna do with that part?
It's been 2 years. We're gonna have to get back in the studio. We're gonna have to make this happen again.
No, I just feel like I'm not grasping her.
I think my hip and her feet are connecting or running into each other now.
I've been dancing around all morning. I'm so excited, and then I had 2 cups of coffee to make sure I had energy for this. So I'm pretty jittery right now, and I'm hoping that I just calm down.
You want to do a test entrance in the block before we actually do it for real? Is that about as far downstage as you go?
It varies.
It varies?
It depends on the chair. But I'll try to be right here.
Yeah, you've been pretty close to there though, right?
Yeah.
Never been on that stage. There were a lot of dancers I hadn't met or been with, and I didn't know any of the tech people, so I was just a little bit out of body.
And then do you do this one? Right. Yeah, it just, this confuses me because they're both.
I've had black all morning. I've been good.
Okay, sorry, I screwed up, so
Okay, lights on to take it out.
call us 20 minutes. What do you mean? The show and the stage is available. Stage is dry.
Stage is dry.
Raya said that she didn't like being my little sister like growing up, and I was like crying like super hard when I saw the interview. But it was like, I understood. I understood why. And like I just hope that now she doesn't feel like that. Like she lives in her own house and she has her own life, so she's not like in my shadow. It's like I'm dancing when I'm choreographing. I usually choose that one person to help me figure out what I can do, and I feel like I'm dancing through them. Since I joined Polaris, there's no second guessing what I'm able to do.
I spent a long time trying to be really sure of what I wanted, and I thought that being solidified was what made people successful or what made people adults. And now I just feel lost in a more comfortable way. I think I've learned to be all right with not being totally sure what I'm doing. Me and Era are gonna be best friends forever.
Even when we go through our little rough patches where we both kind of digress a little bit, we always come back to each other.
There's not really a word to describe what it's like performing with Raya. It just takes me back to when we were growing up. Like, we would always spend time together, and everywhere you found me, Raya would be right there.
I get emotional every time I see them. But when I see them dance together, it is probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. They are two completely different individuals, both grown up to be spectacular women. They're their own people, but when they dance together, it just seems like they become one. And that's not mommy talking, that's a lover of the arts.
We had to do like 6 bows, just like continually bowing.
So awkward. She told me to keep bowing though, and I was like, okay. Everyone else keep bowing with me, I can see.
And I just kept doing like just following her, and I was just like, are we done yet? Nope, we're not done. She started breakdancing, and I was, it was so awkward.
At that point, I was just like, I don't even care anymore. The night's over for me. Like, I'm just gonna do whatever comes to mind.
It was fun, and then like the second those curtains touched the ground, it was.
We all started screaming.
I feel like I'm starting to become more confident. I, of course, doubt myself on occasions, but with the help of friends and family, I'm able to push through and conquer what I've set my mind to. I've applied for tons and tons of positions in the medical field, and because of my current situation, I'll get like tons of rejection letters or not even a chance to get in an interview, or I'll go to a place and they're like, oh, you're a great person, but you don't fit within our facilities. My resume says that I can draw blood and I can type on a keyboard, and they're just like, I don't care how many times you say it, but until I see you do this, I'm not gonna believe you. You can't judge someone by their outer appearance. We're more than a wheelchair or amputated limbs, and we have a lot more going on in our lives than what you can expect.
The only way we're going to coexist, live, and work together is that we actually do that. We can't skirt around the ideas and provide pathways for this individual to go and pathways for these certain types of people to go. We actually have to get it together in the same room and move through the same space.
We need to re-envision what a human being is. Normally we're told we are our physical body. Anyone who experiences movement, though, knows that The physical body and the surrounding space build a unity. Kiera moves in a way that's flawless and simply exquisite because she activates what's around her body. Her sister Uriah has a quality that many of the other dancers don't have. Kiera had to begin her motions peripherally. Uriah was given the gift of learning that from the very, very beginning from her sister who didn't have the physical limbs but had mastered the spatial limbs.
Once upon a time, my rebirth was necessary. My thoughtful thoughts were less than buried. I let them scare me.
I used to say in high school that I was never going to dance professionally and that I only wanted to do it when I felt like doing it. And then I stumbled upon it. Right now I'm with a company that is pretty much rooted in Afro-modern and Afro-Brazilian dance. And it just feels really connecting and grounding.
So what would you say to a sibling of someone with an alternate ability?
Be a little hard on them. They're probably so used to people rushing in to help them and asking them if they're okay and if they're comfortable. And maybe a little more often encourage them to do it on their own. You'll help them when you see that they're struggling, but there are small things that you know they can do. Tell them they should do it themselves. That's something anyone wants, is just to be treated like a regular person. It's important, at least initially, not to compare yourself to your sibling and not to feel guilty about what you have and what they don't. Let yourself shine and don't hold yourself back because you don't want them to feel bad or anything. Know your strength and always overestimate their strength.
Find someone in your life who will be there for you no matter what. Having that friend, that family member, that boyfriend, girlfriend, they help you through more things than you can imagine.
So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's been great to play and sing together, and now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again.